the newer ski resorts on Icon Pass is Schweitzer Mountain Resort in northern Idaho. Schweitzer has a diverse mix of terrain with bowls, chutes, groomers, and plenty of glades. Half of the resort is advanced to expert, but there are plenty of intermediate runs. The resort is large with 2,900 acres split into a frontside and a backside, and the climate is mostly wet snow in this lower elevation region. Foggy weather is also common due to a nearby lake and earning the resort the nickname Schwite-out. We caught a good storm though and didn't mind the lack of a view floating through the deep snow. Free refills today.
Schweitzer is in the panhandle of northern Idaho's Selkirk Mountains, about a 2-hour drive from Spokane International Airport. Only 60 miles south of the Canadian border, it's easy to combine a road trip along the Powder Triangle or to other regional ski resorts. It takes about 25 minutes to drive from the nearest town of Sandpoint, Idaho, up 2,600 feet of switchbacks to the Schweitzer Base Village. There are 2 free parking lots and 1 paid parking. The base area is relatively small with several hotels, the Lakeview Lodge, ticket windows, and some food options. A bit of powder panic was causing chaos in the long merging lift lines at the start of the day, but they were moving quickly.
Schweitzer is made up of 2 areas, the frontside Schweitzer Bowl and the backside Outback Bowl. The frontside basin quad is mostly intermediate runs with the terrain parks and connection to the Lakeview triple chutes on South Bowl. Great escape is in the middle to a mix of intermediate and advanced runs and access to the backside. The backside has steep Lakeview chutes at the top under Colborne Triple, or intermediate riders can ride down the ridge to Cedar Quad and the 6-pack Stella. There are plenty of groomers and lower angle glades to explore. Finally, catch the T-bar along North Bowl to discover the far backside area.
Basin Express is where intermediate riders will feel most comfortable before venturing to the backside. There are plenty of groomers here, but you can find overlooked powder stashes in the trees as well. This area has the beginner and intermediate terrain parks, which were hard to ride in the powder conditions, but had several jumps and rails.
Expert riders can connect from Basin to the Lakeview Triple to the top of South Bowl. There are several chutes on each side of the lift that loop back to the chairlift for easy powder laps. We found this area to have more snow than the rest of the resort, and it was a favorite on the front side. If you venture further down the ridge, you must ride all the way back to the base area and take both lifts back to the top, which is not ideal.
Great Escape Quad is the fastest way to the top of the mountain and access to the backside. It can get very windy at the top, but the lifts are generally well protected. Frontside runs here were a mix of open bowls, groomers, and wide-spaced glades. Since only a few lifts reach the top, riders must traverse down the ridges from the top and choose which run to take. Headwall, White Lightning, and JR Trees were our favorite areas.
After exploring the frontside, ride over the Great Divide into the backside. The Outback Bowl is 50% larger than the frontside, with several unique areas and even a different weather pattern. The Stella area is mostly intermediate with mellow, low-angle trees for cruising through. The trees are bigger in the Outback, providing easy turns through a rare forest environment. At the far edge of the resort, see if you can find the giant 800-year-old grandfather cedar tree. The other interesting thing about Stella is the lift, which has an entry area like an amusement park ride. Cedar Park Lift is in the middle of the backside with some steeper glades. Unmarked tree skiing is a strong point of the resort, as long as you don't get lost in a thicket. This area is a good mix of intermediate and advanced riding before heading into the expert area.
Colborne Triple is the lift to the very top expert chutes. The lakeside chutes are exposed bowl runs through rock bands and tight lines. The lift ride up gives a good view to plan your route. That is, unless there are Schwite-out conditions. Low visibility can lead to vertigo in the open terrain and near impossible riding. When the clouds clear, it is one of the better expert areas, and we took several laps exploring the bowl. Further along Great Divide Ridge were other steep entry points with trees along the way, which helped in low visibility.
It's quite deep in here.
The last area and backside is the North Bowl with steep double blocks from the top of Colborne Lift that drop into a maze of glades and rollers. In our experience, there wasn't too many flat areas here that required unstrapping or route finding. At the far end of North Bowl is the T-bar to reach the outer edge of the resort. Ride the intermediate ridge or drop into the advanced glades along the way. This area does get some snow crust from the sun, but it can be awesome in the right conditions.
At the bottom of the backside is the Outback Inn for lunch or a drink. The line was rather long with limited seating. For nicer amenities, ride to the very top of the resort and sit in the sky house with views if the weather cooperates. This is the best food on the mountain, albeit the most expensive. At the top of Stella is the Rowdy Grouse Yurt for drinks, or ride back to the base for opry and live music in the base area bars. Opry dies down pretty quickly at the end of the day.
As with any resort, it's more expensive to stay in the base village, but it was nice to avoid the drive back down the mountain to town. The hotel rooms are compact to save space, and there are a couple restaurants and pools to explore.
Back to the powder day. See you at the next mountain.